Omanpenyi, I'm talking about President John Dramani Mahama. Emra Okache Ghana for se esefata says see tia a year 1 Ghana levy ewo a year fangwana sa petrol ni diesel ayeto ewo mama to enable us say ne betimi etua ka eka bi ededa da ho bia ne betimi etua no odi hu komo eka bibi etreye besi etie na afeso yehwe exactly what Omanpenyi ekaye efa the reason why we needed to pay 1 Ghana levy no yehwe
The dialogue recognizes growing energy sector liabilities as the greatest existential threat to fiscal consolidation and macroeconomic stability. Our energy sector carries a debt burden of over $3.1 billion US, with an estimated $1.8 billion US more required to finance fuel procurements for uninterrupted thermal power generation in the coming months. If left unaddressed, this situation significantly threatens national productivity and industrial growth. While we have devised a strategy to liquidate this debt and staunch the bleeding in the power sector, we must take advantage of recent gains created by appreciation in the value of our currency to accelerate the solution to our energy sector challenges. In line with the dialogue's recommendation to boldly tackle the crisis in the energy sector, Parliament yesterday approved an amendment to the Energy Sector Levies Act and the Certificate of Urgency, introducing a 1 Ghana cedi increase in the energy sector recovery levy. This decision, though difficult, is necessary and justifiable. The additional revenue projected is 5.7 billion cedis annually. This revenue will be strictly ring-fenced to pay down legacy energy debt, finance ongoing fuel purchase, and avert the risk of recurring power shortages. Funds from this levy will not be subject to the hazards of the consolidated fund. And the minister is here. I know when money falls into the consolidated fund, it faces certain hazards. It will not be subject to the hazards of the consolidated fund. The fund will be regularly audited and audit reports made public to ensure its transparent use.
So clearly, this is what Omanpenyi ekaye to let every Ghanaian understand. Say, esafata say see tuya 1 Ghana levy bi se ne betumi aboa ama ye energy sector debt na wo ho ne betumi clear. So in all, we are telling ourselves say annually 1 Ghana cedi is going to fetch Oman Ghana 5.7 billion Ghana cedis annually to make it or to make up for debt in a war say to me etua efi honomono. But sanema way buy of course the minority still insisted say that's 1 Ghana levy emwa adie bia eba bema Oman no anase timemufo ehu achiro mu yie pa eno they opposed that's 1 Ghana levy but of course ekoswa ema yejitu mu se esese yitua driver for NFA so omomaka bia no also accepted the fact say esese yitua sa 1 Ghana levy and indeed ye nyina ye de hu hyemu se yebitua ne kakrakra se na be ya yeso ye be hu ehun be hen because ana ban ka kire ye nyina. Then today fast forward the minority in parliament make a minority in parliament and I make a select committee ranking member or also ura deputy ranking member make a Collins Adomako a press conference in our parliament to still talk about the issue of the rising of the cost of crude we are say and I say the world. I mean how it is moving and now pay yet say almost about $119 per barrel. Sisia minimbe could do as we speak. But almost for say and nyama say NMC Connedia Omanpenyi any 1 Ghana levy no in fisu sene beya Ghana for so who ebe hin home ye payentie the Ora Collins our press conference in Afembra back this year.
Service Amendment Act of 2025 officially added approximately 1 Ghana cedi to the price builder, bringing the total energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy to 1.95 Ghana cedi for petrol and 1.93 Ghana cedi for diesel. Moreover, the government itself had announced that between January and December 2025, it paid approximately $1.47 billion to reset the energy sector, including the full repayment of the 597 million Ghana cedis drawn on the World Bank partial risk guarantee and settlement of all outstanding gas invoices. The World Bank guarantee has been fully restored, and the government has stated unequivocally that the era of unchecked energy sector debt accumulation is over. If the debt has been addressed, if the guarantee has been restored, and if the cedi is no longer shielding consumers from levies impact, then the justification for the 1 Ghana cedi doomsday levy has completely evaporated. Keeping it is not policy, it is punishment. We call on government to immediately amend the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025 under a certificate of urgency to repeal the 1 Ghana cedi doomsday levy forthwith. Additionally, we call on government to direct a comprehensive review of all taxes and levies embedded in the petroleum price build-up and to intensify those that can be suspended or restricted to cushion consumers from the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act of 2025 officially added approximately 1 Ghana cedi to the price builder, bringing the total energy sector shortfall and debt repayment levy to 1.95 Ghana cedi for petrol and 1.93 Ghana cedi for diesel. Moreover, the government itself had announced that between January and December 2025, it paid approximately $1.47 billion to reset the energy sector, including the full repayment of the 597 million Ghana cedis drawn on the World Bank partial risk guarantee and settlement of all outstanding gas invoices. The World Bank guarantee has been fully restored, and the government has stated unequivocally that the era of unchecked energy sector debt accumulation is over. If the debt has been addressed, if the guarantee has been restored, and if the cedi is no longer shielding consumers from levies impact, then the justification for the 1 Ghana cedi doomsday levy has completely evaporated.
So clearly this was 2 weeks ago, and a deputy ranking member a energy committee, so we are calling Sadumako Edisa in same way na Tuja. And indeed what they are saying is a hardship on Ghanaians, and then again they are looking at say a binder repeal the Energy Sector Levy Amendment Act 2025, you know, under a certificate of agency Senebeya Ghana for so this was some 2 weeks ago, and a minority can't same way. And it's interesting that when President also met the CSOs ni dialogue no on the CSOs ni Asia, you know, ojna omonim can be the oil industry, the sector, and what he thinks say enimenim heya no obetumi aye afa ho yenhwe omampani ebe on the CSOs no Asia, what he said about the fuel and then the oil prices.
Keeping it will not.
I want to thank Duncan for his issue about the stability of fuel prices. Things were sailing quite smoothly, and indeed we're beginning to enjoy some of the lowest fuel prices in a long time. Unfortunately, they say man proposes, God disposes. I don't know what came into the heads of Trump, Netanyahu, and all of them to start this war. But unfortunately, while the cedi remains stable, if this had happened when the cedi was at 17, we probably could not have been able to survive. But the good thing for us is that the cedi remains stable, and so the push factor in the oil price buildup is not coming from the currency, because happily the currency is remaining stable. The push factor is coming from the price of crude oil and finished products. And so far, we've absorbed it. It's not affected us as much, but if this thing continues some more, then we'll have to take some decisive decisions Some of the weapons we have is to look at the margins to try and cushion consumers, and then also look at the recently imposed 1 cedi development levy to try and cushion consumers. But my hope is that sooner than later, this war will come to an end, and we'll see more stable fuel prices. But for now, government remains concerned because fuel prices move the transport sector, and the transport sector is the main driver of inflation. If fuel goes up, the cost of transporting food items goes up, and it affects the inflation in the food basket. And so I'm happy we have thinkers like Duncan and Co. We're all looking at what is going on and praying that the war comes to an end. But if it doesn't, what other methods can we use to cushion the fuel price so that we don't see an increase in inflation?
Omanpenyi oni ASCS so no Asia no de ode etu adwa no. So indeed wame ate ase se enema ohwese na nemesi kona se anko yie dia, then they will have to look into some of these margins and then the 1 Ghana levy issues na minority erezi na wahwe kwa befa so a ebetimi ama timemfo so eho ahenha omo efa de ekoso no na afa bibia etumi akọ enimu kan. But indeed, quick one, as we speak right now, what it means is that petrol ton 13 Ghana cedis 0.30 per liter, and after diesel we understand is selling about 17 Ghana cedis 0.10 per liter, and the LPG so echo 10.71 per kg anona senior omoton sisia senior air corner. So again, obi maybe say what is really happening on the continent as we speak? What is President waiting for to see say obetimi aye with immediate effect? And also say still ano obetwen kakra senior ono oye ne dan den, because state of emergency, he said he is not going to do it. He will wait till enema betimi akọ baby of say air corner nko ye dia obetimi aye when it comes to illegal galamsey. But this time around to what will be the issues, because on the continent it is really fast rating with some of the African continent and then some of the countries now air corner. So we understand so say GPRTU is giving a buying by Tuesday Ombeko meeting 48 hours we had initially. Now they are saying it's a Tuesday Ombeko meeting with the Minister of Transport now Omono Mokakushia to see how ombetimi manage situation when it comes to first and I say sika when okofro car na basa and also no ombetimi ashe amanema etimi akoye. So we're looking at almost all those ones. And somebody will say that currently inflation is 3.2% as of March 2026, but still fuel costs almost about 3.1% despite stable inflation. Ben in Siabe Church said, well, indeed these figures that we're mentioning the correct ones that we have. But it's interesting. I mean, where some of the African countries are cushioning omo countries, we are still waiting to see say enema akoye. So in Namibia, just as we heard today in Namibia, Omama from April to June 2026, this month April to June 2026, Oma tete enema so as we speak right now in terms of fuel, ama Namibia for. So as we speak, omo tumi atete nema so ebema timi mufo so ho ahenha, even though they are still telling us say the Omaye krano it still have certain things, I mean, prices and cost road there. There's a need for them to touch the fuel margins and the taxes and that's one. So they've given themselves from April to June 2026. Just as I told you, say Omanpenyi Trump will say man 2 to 3 weeks on Iran for baby almost at their share from April to June 2026 in Namibia to see them almost not when you go to countries like the India, for instance. India has also taken that bold step from April 2026 as we speak right now. Almost initiate major fuel tax cuts to shield citizens because of the price hike in cost when it comes to Iran, Israel, and the US in Tokano. Taking that particular lead no more young ABBCC. Again, South Africa has also taken taking the lead. And also essay watete and yemaso. And also from 1st April 2026 to 5th of May 2026. And also atete yemaso. Chesesi ane die. Almost so atiasi said they need to cushion a year to move forward a year South Africa to also seize a bed, you know, so a better. So India has done it, Namibia has done it, and then after a year South Africa, so IEBCC. We don't know who will be next when it comes to a yes entity courses. So it means that certain people have taken the lead. Omo in enema ebetumi akọ. Because 2 weeks ago, no, Yankasa, the deputy ranking member, Eka said, if government has paid almost about $1.47 billion already paid on the energy sector thing since 2025. What is the need to keep the one Ghana na a was one? He thinks that no fine for Subia and so therefore they should look into it. Many of say sachet water for also essay or more to 2 prices in him and into Zakoto sachet water CC and bottles mineral bottles and CC and also echo anymore. Why? Because almost say and Nema omo a day this production, you know, they call it polymer, if I'm right with the word. Almost say omokra if the Middle East. China, a honor no more crass and your money fee, raw materials, so normally yes, sachet water now. No. As we speak right now, ships no Emma in Middle East, ma biomomu enya and Yamane Baba Craswa, I know the pass, so they are not even getting it. So they have taken the lead to start increasing a year or more product in this. So as we speak today, sachet water for also up to 2 months, I mean, say a cost. So who will be next when it comes to next week after the Easter holidays? Why and the next to do that? Send a one penny can or to 2 more now.